Right, I know you guys heard of the news of Deebo Samuel's requesting a trade from the 49ers. Now, I get it. Here's the thing, and here's the ball at play. When you mention the Dallas Cowboys name, eyeballs began to start looking. And Deebo Samuel, he's no fool. He mentioned the Cowboys. He pretty much indicated that he would like to play for the Cowboys, and we do know the relationship between Deebo Samuel and CeeDee Lamb is a good one. Here's the problem. Deebo is seeking $25 to $30 million. Let me repeat, $25 to $30 million APY. Now, as far as the new contracts that's coming up in the future, especially due to the TV deal, the NFL signing $111 billion for 10 to 11 years or something like that. It's crazy. Yes, the salary cap will go up. But for right now, that do not hit until 2024, I believe. 2023, we will start to see some of the release of funds or what have you, but it will not hit to 2024. You still have to pay CeeDee Lamb, and you still have to pay Trayvon Diggs, and we just saw what Denzel Ward got. And on top of that, I'm not in the belief of giving the 49ers any draft capital so they can use that to propel their team down the road. No. Now, would Deebo Samuel be a good fit for the Cowboys? I don't know. We got Kellen Moore, who's still in development process with the Dallas Cowboys as it relates to offense. Believe it or not, he is a guy that's learning on the fly. That's the reality of it. Now, if Deebo Samuel comes with this type of situation, a coach attached to him, oh, McDaniel is already down there in Florida land. He's the Miami coach now. He was the guy. From my understanding, Mike McDaniel was the guy that pretty much drew up the game plans to get Deebo Samuels into the game. He did. And, of course, we look at Deebo, the flexing in the end zone, the guy that runs over everybody, that stiff arms everybody. Well, he did come along with last year with 4 fumbles, 12 drops. And we know how Cowboy Nation, look, I literally got people still bringing up the 2007 Patrick Creighton drop, right? And that drop happened in the playoff against the Giants in the 3rd quarter. And you listen to most Cowboy fans, they will tell you that, hey, that drop happened in the 4th quarter in the final minutes of the game. And he's the reason why they lost the game, although it was a horrible drop. But I'm going to tell you guys right now, 12 drops, they will crucify Deebo Samuel over here in Cowboys country. Now, would another team entertain Deebo trade scenario? I'm quite sure another team would look at that and say, okay, they got an unlimited amount of salary cap that they are not afraid to squeeze the trigger and get Deebo. But for Cowboys, man, they won't do that. I don't want to get you guys' hope up. Now, in a strange world, if the Cowboys do decide to give the 49ers whatever they're asking for, and if they do decide to pay Deebo Samuel $25 to $30 million and say, hey, we got your shiny toy, leave us alone now, right? If they do decide to do that, then it's back to the drawing boards. How are you going to draw up this play? Kellen Moore, can you get these guys in positioning? And come on, Cowboy Nation. I'm going to tell you guys, Deebo will bring the mentality over, but the problem would be just the same. Will Kellen Moore get creative enough? And, of course, if you think about Dak Prescott and you think about the way he throw the ball underneath and everything, I know I'm going to tell you guys, I know you guys hate to hear this, but Dak is going to only take what the defense give him. He's not going to force it. So, yes, if he's throwing it to underneath route to Deebo, and Deebo with that yak action to give you those yards, man, that would be nice. That would be flat out nice. But you still have to pump the brakes, Cowboy Nation, because I truly don't think Stephen Jones will be willing to pay that amount of money, $25 to $30 million for that. Now, granted, we are paying Dalton Schultz $11 million to be the dump-off, dink and dunk situation for the tight end. But that's the story of a different day. They want to work out a long-term situation for him. But I want you guys to understand, in this draft, You can find your Deebo in this draft. Not saying that he'll put up same numbers, but this draft class is the biggest wide receiver draft class in a long time, maybe in history. There's so many picks that you can get out of a wide receiver that can add extra flavor to your team. You got guys that can take the top off the defense. You got this 2022 version of a Deebo Samuels out of Treylon Burks. You got a lot of situations that you can just fall back, be patient. You got 8 days until the draft. Now it's going to be around 7 days by the time you guys see this video. And it could be 6 days, 4 days, 5 days, whatever. You got to wait until the draft. The draft is where you can find your guys. Think about it. A.J. Brown, D.K. Metcalf, Scary Terry McLaurin, basically. All of those boys sitting back saying, shoot, if Kristen Kirk got his paper, shoot, I want mine too. I want some bread. And y'all got to open up for me. And that's how these wide receivers looking. They work hard. They got the sweat out there. They on the field. They going to want the same deal or more or better. And the same could be said right now for the defensive side of the coin on these DBs. They're going to look at Denzel Ward, who is pretty good, by the way. Trayvon Diggs going to be looking at it like, shoot, he got 10 interceptions until now, right? I got north of that already, going into my third year. And even if Trayvon Diggs get 4 or 5 interceptions, he going to be like, I feel you, Cowboy Nation, but I want my paper. I want my bag. So that's why I said it's better for the Cowboys to go ahead now. After this year or during this year, since it's the third year, start working on those contracts for CeeDee Lamb. Start working on those contracts for Trayvon Diggs so that you don't want to hear the same situation that you hear from Deebo right now. So you won't see the same situation of waiting too late to pay the guy, and then he fooled around and asked even the Trayvon Diggs, he probably asked for 24 to 25 APY. That's how this game is, unfortunately. And everybody, they know this Amazon deal is about to kick open, and they already introduced it. Betting into the NFL, that's going to kick open a whole nother avenue of revenue for this NFL team. These players, their agents, they're reaching out, they're talking, and they're saying, hey, we want this because we know you got that. So that's how this thing is going, Cowboy Nation. So in the hearts of hearts, would Deebo Samuel help this team out? Yes. Yes. Deebo will help this team out. Will Stephen Jones pull the trigger? No. Now, will Jerry pull the trigger? Yes, Jerry will pull the trigger. Jerry will look Stephen in the face and say, hey, I have more years behind me now than in front of me. And I got to see this team lift up another Lombardi trophy. I need to see some greatness out there on the field. I need to see somebody run over somebody with the silver and blue on. I need somebody to get into the end zone, red zone, money zone. I'm ready to pull the trigger. Stephen Jones going to be like, nah, Dad, nah. Let me get this. Remember Joey Galloway. Remember Brandon Carr, which was a, decent deal. It just didn't perform on the field all the way up to our expectations, but it wasn't that bad. Or do Roy Williams. Remember Roy Williams. Stephen Jones is always that reminder guy. Remember you wanted Johnny Manziel. You wanted Johnny Manziel. And that's what Stephen does, right? He reminds Jerry to pump the brakes. So we'll find out. Remember, that's just how this thing roll. Now, I do see the ball at play. Teams after teams after teams get these guys that all of a sudden said that they want to go play for the Cowboys. And it never happened. That's the craziest thing of it all. The only person, before I get up out of here and departing, the only person who literally took the discount to stay for the Cowboys, who really, the Cowboys were out on him, right? He went to Washington land, and they gave him a good contract. He came back to Dallas and said, you know what? I don't want to be around Washington. I want to play for the silver and blue. The only person that was willing to take the discount to stay, and then the Cowboys were looking at his particular contract and said, man, it's still too much, was Amari Cooper. Let that sink in. He's the only person. And last I checked, he ain't have no street issues, no off-field situation, none of that. He just didn't want to get that jab. Y'all know how that go. DC for life. I'm about. Peace.